Hi, everybody. All right, December 17th. Oh, it's 8 days to Christmas. It's my favorite time. Picking up from last time, so we had applied the fiberglass outside to the shell of this plug, and then we used the fairing material, the green fairing material, which is nothing more than epoxy with a two-piece epoxy with tons of filler in it, to kind of smooth it out. So in this video, we are going to be applying an epoxy primer to the outside of that once it's sanded. And then we're going to sand down the epoxy primer, and then we're going to start laying up a mold on the top. So you might ask, well, you've got the fairing compound. That's pretty smooth. What's this primer stuff about? Well, an epoxy primer, I mean, again, it's a two-part primer, and it's an epoxy resin, and it's got a basically primer paint mixed in with it, right? And it's got I think it's zinc phosphate, which is an anti-corrosive. I mean, you can put stuff on, and it's sandable, and it makes a really extra smooth finish. Now, normally you would shoot this with a paint gun, but this is a small project, so I'm just painting it on. You can waterproof. I mean, this will make a waterproof barrier. So, like I said, once you have painted on a couple of layers, you go to sand. You can get down to about a 400 grit finish, which is super smooth. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to make the top mold. Well, we're going to make a sample mold is what we're really doing. I got some Q&A. People were asking about why are you making a male or female mold? So eventually what we're making is a female mold. This could theoretically be construed as a male mold. The problem is if you look at that shape, any composite material I put over that is never going to come off. So we've got to do female molds. Fine, no problem. So that's what we're doing here. So we're going to make a two-piece mold out of this. Well, you'll see. Again, this was months ago. Let's see, any other Q&A? Someone was asking about the G3X system. Yes, next time I get into some wiring, we'll talk more about the G3X stuff. Okay, so the next step is when you want to make molds off of this plug. What we're making here is sort of a hat mold. So if you look at that black line down the side, so pause the video and you'll see the black line down the side of the plug there. That represents the floor of the fuselage where the armrest is going to sit. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense. Basically, so if you imagine me wrapping carbon fiber around this entire thing, in order for me to cut it so that it will lay flat on the floor, that's the line I would cut the sides at. Does that make more sense or less sense? Basically, what's happened is I've made this mold extra large so that I can not have to be so exact with the composite material we put on top. This will all become clearer as we go along. So what we're doing is we're going to make the mold basically at the very top of this to sort of make it like a hat, like a top piece of mold. You'll see what I'm saying as we lay this out. So what we've got is a piece of cardboard with a hole cut in it. That's the exact same shape as the plug. And it's also the exact same shape so that as you bend the cardboard to fit that line on the side, that it fits it perfectly and that there's no space around the ends. Now that's not that easy to do. In fact, you'll see we have to actually sort of use these popsicle sticks here and some hot glue to keep that in place. So we started off with a few layers of release wax that helps keep, the release wax is there so that after you lay up fiberglass on top of that, it'll just sort of keep them separated and you can pop one part off from the other. That way they don't bond, right? We're just trying not to keep it to bond. So what we're actually going to wind up doing here is we're making a boat hull in reverse. So normally, if you're laying up a boat, you do tons of fiberglass, and then you put a primer on that, and then the outside of the boat, which is white and shiny, that's the gel coat, right? In this case, we're sort of doing it in reverse. We're going to be putting the gel coat on first, and it's a polyester resin, which basically it uses, it's called MECB, it's a methyl ethyl ketone, and you use that in a very small amount to activate and harden it. You can see me painting it there. So we're putting the gel coat on first, and then we'll be laying the fiberglass on after. Although, I mean, sometimes people do boats like this as well. All right, so have a great weekend, everyone. Holiday season. Next video, we will be turning this thing into an authentic mold. So see you soon.